Yeah. Okay. Hold that one second, guy.
Hey guys, what's going on? I missed all you. Mr. Emmett and Cold Fact, welcome. Hope you all are doing well. Look at that perfection. Even the details have details. What inspired the making the dragon have fur and scales? So, Emmett, this is not a dragon. It's a Qilin or Qilin. It is more deer-like than actual dragon. I don't know if it's related to dragons in Asian mythology, but it's definitely not a dragon. Even though it has scales, has a horn, it's more deer-like in its what would you say, etymology? But the inspiration for this, I'm gonna get back to your, how do you spell it so I can look it up. It's either in Japanese, it's Kirin, or in Chinese, I don't know if it's Cantonese or Mandarin, Qilin. Yep, there's a beer called Qilin. Yeah, let me get back. I think you were inspired. What inspired making the dragon? So I think in Asian cultures, dragons are. I don't think they're considered. Um, Dang it, what do they call them? Where they're made up of different animals. Uh, Shoot, it's right there. Um, I don't know. It'll come to me. But they're kind of an amalgam since they're mythological creatures. Amalgam of different animals. And not, I don't think like in a literal sense. Like Japanese mass. I saw this movie a while ago called Demon City. Yeah, I think I've seen that. It's like from the 80s. It's an action movie, but the art direction and their version design of the Japanese only demons masks are incredible. Yeah, very stylized. I don't know if I'm the best. I haven't. I'm not aware of all the YouTube artists out there right now, so it's hard to make that claim. But I appreciate that. I think we're all the best. we are all the best. Because we're doing something that hasn't been done in the history of painting so far. We are living that, what do they call it? Zeitgeist. I mean, if you grew up on the internet and you're an artist and you post your art on the internet, somehow I think we're all a part of that phenomenon. Something like a phenomenon. There's only a handful of other artists streaming. No, not really. Because when I go through YouTube, there's tons of artists doing their thing on. Now, if you're speaking on a level of, like, you know, quality, originality, that might be another thing. But it's still hard to say because I every time I go on YouTube, they're showing me somebody new, and I'm like, look at their profile, and they're like, oh, they've been doing this for a while now. Some of them have a lot of followers. Some are like, you know, kind of in the middle, and some like me where, you know, you're just kind of getting started, or been doing it for a little while, but still don't have that that large following. You know, I don't know. I'm not trying to focus on huge following. I don't think it'll happen because unless people are looking for other artists to kind of be inspired by, I don't think I'll get that. I don't think I'll get that large. And that's, I mean, I'm not too concerned with it, because that means people have to be on YouTube to even see it. I might post it on other social media, but that doesn't guarantee somebody's going to go from that platform to a platform they're not used to, unless they're adventurous and willing to like explore other platforms. And some people just, they have their platform, they stick to it. So you don't see a whole lot of crossover. Me, I fall in that category of like to see what's out there as far as digital platforms are concerned. I might not know of all of them, but you know, I'm finding different ones here and there, just like different digital art apps to use. There are only a handful of other artists streaming right now. So, I mean, oh, you mean literally streaming right now? Not just who are streamers. I just look up art live stream and the algorithm can't pull the singles or nothing. So you're pretty much number. Yeah, you know what? The algorithms are weird in that way. So I wouldn't say that they're not out there. Even if you like use particular keywords, it doesn't always land you on those people's pages. It's almost like you have to be of a certain level to gain access to them, and I don't, and I'm not using that in like a literal sense, like you have to gain a level. I just feel like I don't know, certain doors just aren't open to us at certain times. So I'm not sure how the networks work. You know, it could depend on your region. How many people are like, I'm not sure how YouTube itself delegates. Like where you are within their system. Because I can't imagine they have one gigantic server housing complex. Because I mean, people are uploading stuff all the time, so it takes up a lot of space and energy. Because I don't know where YouTube is located. I mean, I know Google controls YouTube. So, like, are all those servers that hold all that information in Silicon Valley, or okay, I thought I was off the screen. So right now I'm just kind of going back over the same color just because it's not fully, like it's not opaque enough for me. I'm trying to build up the layer. This is why it takes me so long, because I'm trying to get that solid look. People might call graphic, but you gonna be on later doing your portrait? Well, according to Emmett, I am #1 on the internet, or at least on YouTube. Can you write me up a testimonial, Emmett, so I can put that on my website? Yeah, I'd like to see more creatives, more artists doing their original work live. Not that they have to do the whole entire like process, but you know, here and there, it's always cool to see. It always inspires other artists, other people interested and maybe wanting to become painters, and just like how Bob Ross, you know, kind of Bob Ross and Willem, what's his name? Bob Ross's teacher, William Alexander, like how they put that, ignited that spark within me just by watching those two guys paint. It's not like I wanted to paint like them, and I know I give you a lot of crap about classical realism and all that, but I think, and it's tough because I know everybody wants to be their own person, be their own creator, their own ruler of their world, for lack of a better analogy. But I do think it's important to understand the basics of where painting came from, like the evolution of how to paint, and how to paint can mean a lot of different ways because you have so many different painters throughout history. And I understand a lot of people are not interested in like classical realism or even like painting methods that came before classical realism, but it only studying those things will only help to improve your own painting, how you want to paint. I may be self-taught or self-motivated, but as far as painting is concerned, I haven't had any teachers, and I'm not saying that in a bragging kind of way. It's just a fact. That doesn't mean that I don't believe in schools of painting and that people can get something out of schools of painting. Because it's hard, it's work. Painting can become like almost like a job if you don't enjoy it or can find the joy in what you're doing. I think a good foundation in color and color theory is important, because you could say, oh, it's not necessary, but then you're sitting there spinning your wheels trying to figure out, you know, what you want to do, how you want to do it, where somebody else who might have that understanding better than, and I'm not saying you as you, but as a person that's trying to become a better painter. Like, you may be back there in the pack, which, you know, might not have a problem with that, and maybe you won't be spinning your wheels forever. But if you're trying to be the best, and maybe that doesn't even matter within your sphere of influence, it doesn't. I don't think it hurts. To me, I look at it as like, because I used when I was younger in my preteens, my brother and I swam for the Boys and Girls Club, and my brother was the one that kind of got me into it, in the sense that he took up something, and then back then when he took up something, it was always like, oh, okay, I want to do it too. So we both got on the swim team. Well, we did competitive swimming, so we swam against other teams around the city, and then eventually that led to other teams around the region. And you don't get to that level without developing your practice, your craft. Like, you would have to go to our neighborhood Boys and Girls Club and practice. I think we practiced five days out of the week, and it was probably like a 2-hour long practice, and it was brutal. I tell you that being that age, it was, I think, more like, oh, it's something to do, but it was still brutal because you would have to put in the effort, and if you wanted to get better, you had to put in a lot of effort. Hey TDS, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel. Not sure if have you been here before on my streams, or I know I've seen you in other streams before, but I can't remember if I've seen you in my chat. I think I'm just talking to myself right now. And I say that not meaning that you're not there. I mean just in general, because I know Huzzah Creative was there, but I'm not sure if he's still hanging. I know some people just lurk, so I don't know exactly who's there or not, or when they're there. So, you know, as a streamer, you just have to kind of hopefully speak from the heart, just be yourself. Sometimes it helps us as the individual even understand kind of what's going on with ourselves, if we don't already know. Sorry, I'm also listening to something on CNN. I don't know who Gallant is. Is he like... Sounds like somebody within Israel's maybe political scene. Maybe he's an ambassador for Israel to America. They're talking about the operation in Iran because they just recently... I think they recently attacked some of Iran's key sites that may be developing nuclear weapons. I'm not sure. Hold on a second. I think I dropped in once briefly, no time to watch your stream. But I'm here today and I'm here. No worries, TDS. I mean, I know people have a life. Hey, Satya G, it's been a while. It's okay to talk to yourself. Some best advice I ever received from talking to myself. Yeah, It's like you kind of organize your thoughts too, or you might not know like what's going on internally, and then you just start talking, and you're like, oh, okay. You start to piece together, I don't know, a scene, a narrative, something, whatever that you made. It's almost like painting, because I'll do a painting, I have no idea what it means, if it even has a meaning, and then years later, years down the line, I'll be in a certain place, like not literally, but like mental space, and then all of a sudden it'll just click. It'll be like, holy crap, that's what that was all about. And that's, I think, why I keep making paintings or making art, because eventually it'll make sense. I don't know if that works for everybody, because some people are maybe different in that way, and they definitely need to know. Dude, Nietzsche, go take it elsewhere. Take that sneezing elsewhere. Okay, I don't want to listen to anything about Caravaggio right now. You've been busy? No, like I was saying to the TVS, we all have our lives. We have to live. Things get busy. You gotta focus on your life. Hopefully I'll be around the next time you want to come around, like right now. And you can see what I'm up to. And if you want, say hello. That is all cool and fine by me. It's interesting to see, people come and go, and who will stick around, and who, disappears for a while, but then, will reappear here and there, and it's like the sea ebbs and flows. And I guess if you're trying to build your channel, maybe that would annoy you. But I'm not too worried about it. Sometimes it's like, I may ask myself something or wonder why this or that, having to do with streaming and the internet and being a creative on this platform. But ultimately, it's not worth fretting over. I've also given myself some of the worst advice I ever received. I totally understand that too. Well, hopefully the more that you do. Hey, Wendy, are you back from your concert? How was the concert? Hope you had a good time. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, hopefully the more you do of that, the better advice you get, or the better you get at the advice you give yourself. Or you can stop when you give yourself that advice. You can stop, contemplate that advice, and then hopefully make a well-informed choice or decision based on that advice. Okay, I might be off the screen. I can never tell. I need a camera person. I need an AI robot to be my camera person, because I know nobody would really want to sit here and operate a camera. Not for this. forgot. I don't know if I answered your question, Wendy, but I am doing well. Finally made time to sit down and paint. After making breakfast, helping my wife put together some packages she wanted sent off begrudgingly. Um, got that together, and also was looking at some games on the computer, contemplated playing a game before I started painting, and I was like, well, no. I gave myself last night to game. I said, well, if you're not going to paint, you can game, but when you get up in the morning, you're going to be doing that painting. I have to make these ultimatums with myself sometimes. Oh, Wendy, you're aware of Emmett's stuff? Yeah, Emmett's, he's been doing his YouTube thing for a while now, but his, I think, painting somewhere between 2 and 3 years now. I always end up between him and Travis, and also Dondrell Lee, if he ever does any. He's been cutting back on his live stream. Those three guys I usually watch if I see they go on, amongst other people who just usually post videos instead of going live. Well, there's a few others I've found that this seems to be a lot more kind of joining in on the live stream realm of painting, which is cool to see. It's cool to see what kind of things everybody's into or doing. Plus, I gotta go somewhere to steal my ideas from. Wait, it's not even a vehicle anymore. This work of yours looks like it has a 3D effect. Yeah, so I'm trying to do this background in an isometric view, which is a particular format usually found in like old gaming systems. Specifically like kind of RPG games, which means role-playing games, if you're not familiar with the term RPG. So I thought it would make an interesting contrast to the central image of this creature here, and also keeping it kind of somewhat grayscale or muted. These figures here, though, those will be definitely in color, somewhat, some palette, some color palette, and not gray, but hopefully a natural color palette, maybe, because my central figure here is like very outrageously bright and colorful color palette. So I don't want these things to kind of pop too forward of the central image. But yeah, I'm definitely going to keep working on the vehicles so that they have that kind of 3D effect. I guess I'm doing what in painting they refer to as maybe illustrative decorative. Because it's not really true naturalist naturalism as far as my 3D stuff. I guess you say I'm not painting trompe l'oeil. I'm not really trying to trick your eye, but I am trying to trick your eye in a way, I guess. Not trying to trick your eye into believing that what you're seeing is real, in the sense that it's there. No. Well, it developed from um, drawings I did from uh, my imagination, but also uh, a sampling of stuff. Like the vehicles are like CGI images that I found on the internet. They're like little clip art type things. The central figure here, that all came out of my imagination, but I also used some references as um, guides, but the image itself was like um, kind of an amalgamation of different sources, but just kind of like using those as guides. Like if I were um, painting from life, you're just kind of painting from what you see. um, but yeah, that if I could just paint straight from memory, that would be great. But it took a bunch of preparatory drawings to get to the central creature figure, and then one big drawing to lay out all the vehicles. Which actually I did. I used um, I used some digital programs to kind of, I guess you say, digitally collage together all the vehicles to in a layout that I was fine with, and then um, this figure, which is going to be a figure riding an ox, was uh, taken from a photo of a statue, like a small sculpture. So it's a real thing, but it's not. The thing is not uh, an image of an actual ox and figure. It's a small sculpture, statue, um, decoration. So I kind of do stuff like that. Thanks, Wendy. Uh, I I didn't want to, but I ended up correcting Emmett also. This is not a dragon. It's not related to a dragon. It's more akin to a deer, a mythological kind of deer creature from Asian mythology. But it does have scales, kind of like a dragon. Uh, I think dragons, some in Asian mythology, I think dragons have hair too or fur. So they're very similar in that way, but I don't think they're related as far as like um, mythological creatures are concerned. They may have similarities. Oh no, don't worry about it, Wendy. Uh, um, I know a lot of people say dragon because it actually has similar features, like the face itself um, is more dragon-like. I could have made it more deer-like, but when I was doing research on the actual creatures, and when I say the actual, I mean the mythological resources or the resources where I can find the mythological creatures. You typically kind of have them looking more like a dragon. So, yeah. Because I think there are a lot of actual Asian creatures, mythological creatures, that a lot of them have scales and fur. So I don't know what that's all about. Yeah, TDS, it's like um, mine is built up is a memory of um, things that you see, I guess, in the real world on a daily basis. Like a lot of it comes from observation, observational drawing, observational painting. And over time, you start to kind of understand those things in space, and then you can almost transfer that stuff straight to the canvas if you want. Mine are the images are usually very complex. So to do that without doing a bunch of preparatory drawings would probably drive me crazy, and I would sit here having to change things constantly, like redo stuff over and over to get to um, uh, the results I'm looking for. Yeah, if you're painting this thing in front of you, that's typical, especially if it's outside, that's plein air or life painting or drawing. Like if it's a still life in front of you, it's like a life drawing because you're doing it from life, whatever you see in front of you. So plein air typically means from you're doing like a scene or a landscape. I don't know if that would refer to things like like living things well, pretty much everything is kind of living, but like animals or people and stuff like that. Oh my god, my cat Kire, what are you doing? What are you doing? The cat wants my attention, and she's being very annoying right now. She's trying to climb all over me like a crazy cat. Crazy cat. Here she goes. Come here, you. Come here. Turn around. Turn around. She won't sit still. Crazy. This is Qilin. She's about 6, 7 years now, I want to say. Maybe 8 years. 2019, I think, is when we got her. So, yeah, 6 years. Going on 7, probably. If not 7. Because I think when we found her, she was already, like, not quite a year old. Yeah, Qilin. She's the tiniest cat out of all the cats we have. She's always kind of been small. She's small and crazy. You have a mackerel tabby? Is that kind of like the color fur when you say mackerel tabby? Years ago, we had one named Raina. About 2 years after she passed, her little boy mackerel tabby showed up. We named him Rex. Nice. Oh gosh, she's too cute for my own good. She's not camera shy. She's beautiful. Yeah, she looks so happy. She is. She's like a very active cat because she is a street cat. So I guess we found her outside my wife's work. She works at a hospital here, and I guess they had reports of uh, some kittens roaming around the campus, and were reported in the area. And I don't know if they were able to get any of the cats or they just kind of let them be. But I guess there was a mother cat and a bunch of young ones, and I think she was part of that litter. She was the only one we saw, but she came out the bushes when I was dropping my wife off to work. And this was later in the evening, like in late December, early January. And she came up, was meowing at my wife. My wife was trying to coax her to come over, and she ran back in the bushes. And I was like, oh, well. And then my wife was calling again, and she came over, and she was right there. And she didn't have a collar or anything on. So I told my wife to throw her in the car, and I'd take her back home. And so we did that. I guess there were still reports of other kittens at that time in on the campus, but I never saw any other cats after that. Um, but yeah, I brought her in the other cats because at the time I think we had 6 or 7 other cats, and the two sisters, they're about her age that we had got prior to uh, like mid fall. I think we got them. They're long haired tabbies, and yeah, they gave her a hard time at first, but now they're all cool. They still like I see her playing with them. Sometimes they fight, they hiss at each other, but they get along for the most part. Yep, foundling. You got a calico? calicos are cool. I remember uh, as a young kid, we'd always find strays around the neighborhood, and I think we had a few calicos come hanging around. Very timid. Yeah, not this one. I think she liked to climb trees because when I got her home, she would climb all over me. She would hang out on my shoulder. Um, yeah, she was just a very, very outgoing cat. And she has very soft fur, kind of a very short, soft coat. Most of yours are stray. We call them dumplings because people dump cats on our property. Oh, we live on a small patch of farmland. Yeah, people are weird. Like if you don't want the cat, just see if somebody would take it. But maybe they have and nobody wants to take it, so they'll dump it. Do you have your cat microchipped? It was made law over here about a year ago. I don't know if we've gotten her microchipped. It could be. I know they have strict rules here, like they want your animals registered. But screw that. This is trying to, you know, just trying to make money for some reason. I don't know. you have a calico, and her sister is a tortoise shell. Yeah, we had a tortoise shell when I was younger. She came. She had a few litters as I was growing up, and then we finally got her spaded after two litters, and then we had her for a very, very long time, and then she passed away. I think my sister was still living at the house. The old house that I grew up in. My sister is like 17 years younger than me. Um, yeah, she found her on the sidewalk one day, just passed away. I think she was probably over 20 years old. We called her Mama Cat. I'm sure that's not a very uncommon name for cats who have litters of kittens. There is no humane society not too far away, so I have no idea why they dump them on our property, which is definitely out of the way, rather than the shelter. Huh. We don't have ours microchipped. If anyone asks, ours are barn cat. Yeah. I mean, we live kind of in a we live in the capital city here in Iowa, but all around is rural farmland and stuff, outside the city. So there's always like gonna be cats. In town, they strongly encourage microchipping and they limit people to 4Ks. Yeah, I think you have to get a kennel license if you want to have a lot of animals. Um, but don't say anything. We don't have 8 cats anymore, but we have 6 cats. We lost a few along the way. But we're still going strong with cats. Yep, and she's just one of them that she likes to come hang out with me when I'm in the studio, which is basically the living room, and because the living room is like her area where she'll come into the bedroom and stuff and hang out. But if there are too many other cats, she would like avoid them. But she'll sleep on all my art stuff. She sleeps on my drawing table. we put a mattress, like literally a full mattress out here, and she sleeps. That's like her spot. She sleeps on the mattress. Does it say craziest thing? Oh! Now she's trying to climb on me. Oh my God, that's claws. She is not declawed either. We don't do that. Crazy thing happened a few months ago. I found a chihuahua near the highway. Someone had dumped the little thing less than 100 feet from the main highway. Oh, that's sad. People just dumping animals. Like I get it when you're in a position where um you can't take care of them, but there's always somebody out there that will take them. I have no idea how people can abandon their pets. It's tough. Sometimes they don't want to, but they're kind of end up in a position where they have to. But there are ways of making sure that your pet gets a home versus just like letting them loose. Because that's, I mean, geez, I couldn't imagine. Like we have a puggle, and I let her out. It was kind of my fault that she got away, but I let her out to go use the yard, use the bathroom in the yard, and it's enclosed on three sides, but the driveway is open, and she likes to go down the driveway. Well, I let her out. As soon as I let her out, I forgot that I had let her out because I was on the phone with my brother, and I started watering plants and all this and that, and completely spaced out that I had let her out. Well, I went in the house, then started making food for me and the wife for like a lunch. The whole time I did not realize until got done making all the food, sat down with my wife, we started eating, and I'm like, "Where's the dog?" Because usually the dog's right there wanting food from us. And my wife's like, "Didn't you let her out?" And I was like, "No." And this was after I just came home from work, so I came in, let her outside, started doing all that stuff, and forgot. Well, when we realized that, I went out, started roaming around the neighborhood, driving around the neighborhood, seeing if I can find her or whatever. My wife got on, the different social medias and started posting her picture and all that to like rescue sites and animal lover pages and all that. We ended up, luckily, the next day, somebody had reported a dog at the shelter. And when they sent the picture, it was our dog, so I went and picked her up. But yeah, I felt really bad after that one. She, it was almost like an adventure for her, though. TDS. I don't even think she realized, like it. You know, it was like uh, anything bad for her. Yeah, and then when we were at the shelter, they said because she was microchipped according to the previous owners that we got her from. And I guess the shelter, when they scanned her, they did not detect the microchip. So that's why they, I guess, didn't report her or anything, or put her up as a missing dog. I don't know. But cool that other people in the community shared that information so that we found out that she was at the shelter. And these were people who were looking for their own pets and were, kind of at the shelter trying to see if their dog was at the shelter when they saw our dog. So hopefully they were able to find their pets. But yeah, it sucks when because we were so worried that maybe she got hit by a vehicle because she'll literally sneak out down the driveway, and when she gets to the driveway, that's it. She's going down the sidewalks on the boulevards. She'll cross the street, without a care in the world, just like doo doo doo. Yeah, she definitely had a grand old time. And when they brought her out, she was all happy. Like she didn't even see me. She was just like all happy. I guess the people at the shelter, like, you know, said that she was like a very good dog and was well behaved. Now I'm like, really? Because she don't act that way at our house. Yeah, I hope they have that. Um, yeah, we were just glad to get her back, and now it's like I'm constantly keeping an eye on her if I let her outside. Because usually before this, and I got too complacent because I would always take her outside on her harness and a leash, just because I know that our yard isn't enclosed, and so I would do that. And then after a while, I'm like, she's not doing anything, and I can keep an eye on her. But that particular day, my mind was elsewhere, exhausted and elsewhere. Yeah, yep. She had a grand old time, like it was nothing. Let me put this back up because Kiere disappeared. Let me see. I think my wife texted me something, probably about lunch. Where did you put the packages? I thought you left for the post office. Are waiting. Okay, I guess I gotta run and go to the post office. Waiting on the kitchen counter. Let's see. Oh, what do I do with my phone? I'm actually looking at. Well, I'm not taking off just yet. But yeah, thanks for joining TDS. Appreciate it. Maybe I'll do more painting. But, people love to see the animals. That's fine. I will show off our cats if they want to be shown off. Yep. TDS, come back anytime. You're always welcome. Everybody is welcome. So, did you already go to your concert, Wendy? I'm assuming so because it's like 3:30 here, so I'm assuming it's like at least almost 9. if not past 9 for you. Oh, what's going on here? Can't even see what I'm working on. Oh, it's this Saturday. That's how much I know what day it is. I thought it was Saturday. Actually, uh, that would have been weird because I always work Saturday. I missed that part. I guess I wasn't reading the Saturday bit. Well, then you didn't miss anything. So, is it the actual guys, or is it? I mean, if the actual guys are still alive, or is it like? I'm assuming it's not the cover band, the Iron Maiden. I'm sure there's tons of Iron Maiden and cover band or cover bands or whatever they call them. When I first moved to Iowa, um, I was introduced to the husband of one of my wife's coworkers, and he did sound and lighting, and he was always looking for help. And at the time, I wasn't really working. I was trying to do the art thing, and so to help supplement whatever was coming in or not coming in, um, he would have these jobs, and a lot of them were like for um, like county fairs around the state or in Nebraska, and he would provide sound and lighting for them. And I remember doing the roadie thing more than a few times, and we'd end up in these really small towns with their at their fairs, and they'd have like the rental stage, and we would have to set up the sound and whatever lights he had. And we saw a few cover bands, or what do they call them when they're like, yeah, let's see. One was AC/DC. They were pretty good. They weren't too bad. The lead singer sounded just like the lead singer. I can't remember his name for AC/DC, but yeah, it sounded just like him. Um, we saw a Beatles cover band one time, or did provided sound lighting for a Beatles cover band. That wasn't too bad. Uh, I think that one was more indoor. That was at like an indoor concert hall. Um, the real band, okay, not the tribute band. Yeah, that's what I meant. Tribute bands. Leonard Skinner too, huh? Oh, Megadeth. Ooh, Metallica. Jeez, all these guys are they're making the money out there, and I feel like a lot of them are like English bands to begin with. Like, isn't Iron Maiden? Aren't those guys English? Not sure about AC/DC. Leonard Skinner. Are, I think they're American. Aren't they American band? Yeah, these tribute bands. Kind of funny. Um, who else? I'm sure there were some others. I just can't remember them all. Yeah, I think that AC/DC tribute band. Um, that was a that was an insane gig because they got rained. I think they got rained out. They tried to keep playing, like even though it was, but it just got so bad that they pretty much had to end their concert. And we were literally breaking down the stage set in a downpour. So by the end of the night, we were just soaked. Um, where they were holding the concert was like the town's like racetrack, like dirt track. So it was out on like on dirt, and the all the dirt surrounding the stage was mud, and we were trudging through. We were like hauling speakers and all this stuff like in through mud. Oh boy, that was. And then it was also because the rain was cold, and this was like in summer, but it was like it came in. The storm was just cold. So the rain was cold. We're in mud. We're hauling, trying to haul the gear. I think at one point they got like a little backhoe or one of those little mini bucket things to help move some of the larger speakers over to the trailer that that our guy had. Crazy. Yeah, it was terrible. AC/DC Australian. Yeah, don't they have they're over 60 years old, Iron Maiden from London in Australia. Yeah, Metallica from California. Megadeth was Australian, huh? Never knew that. I thought they may have been like American or I remember being in I think it was in high school and all the rockers had you knew who the rockers were because they would come in with their AC/DC, Metallica, Megadeth um, T-shirts, and I had no idea who any of these bands were, but they were really popular back then. So I grew up in Minnesota, which is the home of Prince, and when I was in grade school, I remember all the girls talking about Prince and stuff like that, and I'm like, who is Prince? And then eventually would start to hear his songs on the radio, and it's like, oh, okay, this is the guy they call Prince, and he's from Minnesota. He grew up in Minneapolis. He went to there's a high school on uh, it was a high school in the inner city on the south side. I can't remember, and it was the high school that Prince went to, but I lived in that neighborhood, not at that time, but uh, like decades later, and that same high school was still there, but it wasn't a high school anymore. They turned it into like a grade school, and I think they changed the name. I think it was called Central High School, but yeah, and I guess that's where Prince played basketball for the high school there, and I guess he was pretty good. And if you ever watch Dave Chappelle, the Chappelle Show, I think they talk about that. Like Charlie Murphy is he was retelling a story of meeting Prince and playing back, and Prince inviting him to come hang out, him and his boys to come hang out at his house, and then they ended up playing basketball against Prince and his guys, and they got whooped. They got whooped by Prince, and then what was it afterwards? He served them pancakes. Classic Chappelle Show. Yeah, Prince actually he lived in his studio, Paisley Park, was in a suburb or like a second or third tier suburb from the Minneapolis. So after he passed away, a lot of people would go and leave tributes just outside along the fence or on the fence um, of his estate. I think one of my friends went out there with his daughters uh, on one of the anniversaries. People would leave all kinds of stuff, artwork, and stuff like that. I just remember this video I saw. I think it was like a Michael Jackson concert, and I don't know if it was during like an intermission or the end of the concert or what, but Michael Jackson uh, called out Prince to come up on stage and just do a little thing. Of course, Prince, he doesn't have a guitar or whatever on him, so he borrows a guitar, I guess, from one of the musicians. And I don't know if it was because he wasn't used to the guitar, he knew that guitar very well. But, he was like gung ho for it, so he was out there playing. But I don't think the guitar was working very well for him, and that was an interesting video to see. Because I don't know if Prince liked Michael Jackson really, but for some reason he was there and he came up on stage and did a little solo guitar. And I think he was like, "This guitar sucks," and then he was kind of like a little song and dance, and then he like got off stage. It was funny. Hanging out washing, so it's humid here. There'll be oh yeah. hanging the laundry out on the line. Shoot, you do that here, somebody might steal your clothes. The people would be like, "What is going on? Don't think you can't afford a dryer?" I don't ever see any clothes hanging. I think maybe in more rural areas you might see that, but like in the inner city, I think people are afraid to like have their laundry out. We have so many birds hanging out. I'd be worried birds would poop all over the clothes because they poop all over the garbage cans or waste cans that we have and then they poop all over the hose that I have for my watering hose. They poop all over the bird baths that we have. We have like 3 bird baths on our deck, along with all our flowers, and they poop all in those. If I park the cars under the trees, they're pooping all over the trees or the car. They won't want my clothes. They may put clothes on my. They might put clothes on your line. They feel bad. Well, maybe they need some. They need a new wardrobe here. We'll just add some clothes to their line. Well, not quite close to having all these redone, but I think once I finish filling these in, I will probably go to the post office. I will be going to the post office. Oh, post office. It is hot here. You say it's humid and hot there. It is, I think, the same here. We had a bunch of rain over the past few days, and now it's like heating up. I wouldn't be surprised if it hits 90. It's been like in the mid 80s lately. I know we had a few days where it was 90 degrees. So how many hours are you behind us? Was it 5 or 6? Was that? I remember looking it up. I think it might be 6 hours. Time zones. Because I'm in the central time zone for the U.S. Time zones. Time and date. If it would come up. Really? Let's see. Where's the time? Oh, here we go. What? I don't even know how to read this. Let's see. This one's. And. Okay, it's 3:53 here. And in the United Kingdom, which is I'm assuming British Standard Time, it is almost 10 o'clock, so 7 hours difference. 7 hours. 7. It's 13:53 there, so Pacific Standard Time. Wait. $21.52. which is, yeah, what, 9, almost 10, 9, 9:52. Yeah, we're way behind y'all. You guys are like our, well, wait a second. Aren't we behind you guys? We're way behind you guys. You're seeing our future time. I know Laughing Girl is in South Africa, and they are a lot farther ahead. Wait, did it not go? Yeah, they're almost 11 p.m., 10:55 or 22:55. Yeah, in the US we have AM and PM. Some people use that. I don't know what they call it. Um, I know here we refer to it as military time, where it's a 24-hour uh, time system versus our 12 and 12. We're due for bed, and your day is only halfway through. Yeah, by the time it's evening, you guys are almost waking up. Yeah, in the hospitals, they're always using military time. Yeah, I work at the hospital here, but I'm non-medical staff, so I think I mentioned that before. I don't know why I'm doing that. I already did that section. We need to hit down here, down down on the lower part of this canvas. Yeah, our temperature. What did we hit already? Weather. Oh, almost 90. It's 88 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be 30, 31, 30, 31 Celsius. I guess we're supposed to get rain tomorrow and Wednesday. Oh, that sounds like fun. My 2 other days off. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Oh, I was gonna say 27 degrees. No, that's 27 Celsius. It'll be 80 Fahrenheit, 76 on Wednesday. So cooling off a little bit and then ramping back up. Oh, Saturday is gonna be hot. Sunday is gonna be hot. All these days that I have to work, at least I'll be inside at work. Hopefully they have the AC going. Oh, that's Isn't that like pretty nice? Because that would be, I mean, if 88 is like 31 Celsius, 23 would be, I'm assuming, upper 70s Fahrenheit, mid 70s Fahrenheit. I know there's a formula and I don't remember it. It's definitely, what was it? You subtract 32 from the Fahrenheit temp, and then multiply it by something, five something, or I can't remember. It's like 5 or 9/5 or 5/9. Is that a thing? 5/9. Up to that. 28 degrees, so like in the 80s, low 80s. Oh, no. Okay, hold on a second. 2 Celsius. Yeah, it's Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5/9 or 5/9, and so if it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit, it's 0 degrees Celsius, which I knew that. The weird part is when it goes up and down in temperature. 5/9. It's a weird fraction. Weird fraction to be multiplying or dividing by. I should probably hurry up to get those delivered because we're probably going to do lunch. Late lunch if it's 4 or 1600. 1600. Like literally, well, 1603. That's like getting close to dinner. I think most people, typical dinner is 1800. All right, Wendy, have a good evening. I'll catch you sometime soon. I'll let you know if my clothes are still on the line tomorrow. Yeah, did it blow away? Isn't it windy there too? Oh man. Yeah, I should probably, even though I'm not quite done with this, I should probably wrap it up to go to the post office. But it's gonna be nearing rush hour. I don't want to go out in traffic at rush hour. At least the start of rush hour. Depends on the post office I take it to, I guess. If I see someone with your socks on, I know they've had them off my line. Are they very distinctive socks? I don't know if I would recognize my socks if they were of a distinctive nature. All right, have a good night. Oh, crud. I didn't even check to see if maybe our guy has creative is streaming himself. Uploaded the gray cat brushes with Steam review. I thought there were going to be some kind of painting brushes. I should ask him if he would paint with those brushes. Probably have one of those. I think that's where the bristles you can retract and detract. And our cats love them and hate them at the same time. They have a love-hate relationship with the brush. The long hairs, they like to be brushed, but they're not a fan of the brush. Yeah, we might have to come back later and finish off these. I was hoping to get these all kind of knocked out. That's what I get for talking too much. Instead of painting, I'm talking, looking stuff up, getting sidetracked. What did Fresh Cup of Joel used to say? Derailed. Bright white with Nike swoosh. Those are way too common. I guess it depends on your brand, which brand you love. You got Adidas, New Balance, Asics. I don't even know if they make Pumas anymore. Pumas. Yeah, I wear a lot of socks with, how would you say in British, cheeky images on them. Okay, the thicker line definitely helps. Not sure where we're going next with the windows. Yeah, I told myself finish the window before moving on to the bodies of the cars or vehicles, because they are definitely getting reworked. That's what happens when you put aside the image or painting and you don't get back to it for some years. Come on. Come on. Ah, all right. I'll have to come back to that later. Start overworking an area that's wet. Yeah, you just start pulling paint away. It doesn't get better, it just gets worse. What time is it? 4:12. 16:12. Okay, guys, I'm gonna stop it right here so I can go to the post office and then I'm sure do lunch. So I appreciate y'all for hanging out. TDS, Harper, and Windy City, and Hazard Creative, and then I know there was somebody new. Let's say hello. Cold Fact said beautiful artwork, and thank you, Cold Fact. That is a fact, I guess. I'm not sure. It's subjective, so my world, it is a fact. Uh-oh. Here we go. All right, guys. That is going to be a wrap. See, I don't have the glass like Travis has the glass. You hear the dinner bell, the stream is almost over. I have the plastic takeout quart container, and it's filled with water. If it were solvent based, I would have it in glass, but since it's just water, the takeout containers will work because we certainly have plenty of those. All right, guys, have a good night or day. Appreciate you coming through and spending a little bit of time with me, hanging out and chatting. There's our stuff. So they're looking a little more solid. Those kind of blue greenish, I guess you could say, light turquoise lines. See, a lot more solid. My candy stripes or my zebra stripes. I might have to do something in the kind of blue grayish, or we'll figure it out. But first, we got to get all those lines filled in solid, Mike, and then we'll figure out the next step from there. But yeah, thanks guys for joining. Why am I putting that on? Yeah, appreciate the likes, the views. Oh, we're almost 2 hours in, but I'll probably be back on later today. Probably like in a couple hours, and yeah, we'll keep this moving along. All right, guys, thanks, and until next time. Bye bye. Bye for now. Take care, y'all.